And Webber's wide.
Oh, Webber's spinning round. Webber could have a crash. And Webber has gone crashing into the wall. And Webber could collect someone else. He has done. The championship leader is out of the race. Has he taken out Rosberg as well? But the championship leader
like sun.
Lando Norris dropping down to third position at the moment. He'll be late on the brakes. Piastri's going to be hit by Hulkenberg. And the McLaren's made contact as well.
It's COTA this week, and that's in Texas. So therefore, the jersey. And a few things happened before the weekend. A lot of teams releasing special edition liveries. And the one that everyone's talking about, the Williams one. Beautiful livery, an homage to, let me take it out of the box. An homage to this bad boy right here, one Pablo Montoya. And I don't care what anyone says, the V-carb is super ugly. It looks so scattered. Just cover the whole car. Like what you did in Miami. And Alpine, you could have made this Boca Juniors, but you didn't. And Franco's Argentinian, so it makes sense. But anyways, enough yap about the special liveries. What happened in FP1? I don't care. Something better is happening this week. And it's...
He's back!
Yeah, screw you. This is an F1 channel, but I can talk about basketball if I want to. And let me change my jersey, because this is not my favorite team. Oh! Yeah, I'm a Cavs fan. I genuinely might be the only F1 YouTuber who owns the Max Strus jersey. See that quite nice? I don't know if that's an achievement, but the NBA is restarting this week, and I'm super excited. I think my Cavs will do. We got Lonzo Ball. My YouTube channel name has the same initials as him. So, there you go. We're not winning the championship, are we? No one in the East is winning the championship. It's either going to be the Spurs, the Nuggets, or the Thunder. Those are my picks for the championship. No one in the East, but I think we're making the finals. The worst human being on Earth is out for the season, so... yeah, I mean, we're pretty clear for our finals trip. We're just not winning anything. Although I'm really happy with Lonzo Ball and Thomas Bryant. So, who cares about FP1? Let's talk about sprint quality and the sprint.
Lando Norris dropping down to third position at the moment. He'll be late on the brakes. Piastri's going to be hit by Hulkenberg. And the McLaren's made contact as well.
I'm just going to say it right here. Piastri is literally turning into his manager, Mark Webber. What was this move? I don't get it. I've seen so many people calling this a racing incident, but Piastri should have known that there's going to be someone creeping up the inside because A, there was so much room there, and B, everyone does that at turn 1 in COTA. This was such an aggressive switchback maneuver from him. I mean, it's literally the Asian lady Family Guy meme.
I turn now. Good luck, everybody else.
And then most of the sprint would just be a safety car festival. Carlos Sainz on the podium once again, well, a sprint podium, but you know what, not bad from Carlos. Do we think he's starting to outperform Alex Albon? He's finished ahead of him for the past 3 races in a row. You know, he's starting to get really comfortable within the Williams team. He's starting to get used to the Mercedes power unit. I think Alex should watch out for the rest of the season. I don't think he's going to finish ahead of Alex in the standings, but come next year, it's going to be really important. But then again, Singapore and COTA are pretty bad Alex Albon tracks. Like if you look at his track record historically at these tracks, it's not good at all, especially Singapore. So it could be just that. We could see something different in Mexico. Apparently Lance Stroll is still stuck in Singapore for the past 2 weeks, but he only got to COTA late in the sprint because he sent this all the way back from Singapore. What on earth was he thinking of doing that from there? That is absolutely insane. At least he said sorry, right? Well, I don't know about driving on 3 wheels though. Oh yeah, George Russell was also stuck in Singapore celebrating his victory because what was this on Max Verstappen? But he was able to avoid Max, so we let this slide. And other than that, not much to talk about from the sprint. As I said, it was more like a safety car festival, although Hamilton versus Leclerc was an interesting watch for a bit. And now that's the sprint done, let's talk about the race. But before we talk about the race, 10% of you aren't subscribed. That's not a good number. Be sure to subscribe. And also follow me on socials, Twitter and Instagram. I'll try to tweet more, even though I'm a bit lazy to tweet sometimes. So this race is how Singapore would have been if they actually showed the overtakes that was happening in Singapore. So instead of a bore fest, it was more mid rather than a bore fest. The race direction in this one was actually pretty good. I'm proud of you, TV directors. And no girlfriends were shown this weekend. No celebrities were shown, which is surprising considering we're in America. So yeah, you know what? Well done on you TV directors. But we did have this thing. Okay, I'm not gonna bother talking about that. Since this weekend was really hot, the projected strategy was a one-stop from the medium to the hards. So you would find it very surprising when Charles Leclerc lined up to the grid on used soft compound tires. We all thought they would be dead after 5 laps, but it ended up being the superior strategy to the medium to the hards. In fact, the hards were completely useless in this race. Everyone who started on the hards were having a bad time, and the soft to medium, a soft to medium one stop. How on earth was that possible? I mean, if everyone on the grid turned into Force India Sergio Perez, then sure, but no, why is this even possible in the first place? I know we like to talk about safety, and tires blowing up every 3 laps isn't really safe, like Silverstone 2013. But at least make them wear faster, because this shouldn't have been possible at any track. I guess everyone took a page out of Lance Stroll's book. If you've been paying attention to Stroll this year, he's been doing a really good job at overextending his stints. So I guess they all looked at him and say, if Stroll can do it, I definitely can. I've had this opinion since 2022, but Charles Leclerc is a really, really underrated defender. I don't think it's talked about enough. In fact, it's talked about how he's a terrible defender. Ignore them. The fact that he was able to close the door on a car that's much superior to his many times, without contact as well, props to him. I think this was probably his best race of the season, and one of his best defensive work. Piastri's pace in this race was outright horrible, because how on earth was he not able to gain on Lewis at one point when the McLaren is definitely faster than the Ferrari? Ferrari's pace was surprising this week, but it's still clear McLaren was faster, and Lewis Hamilton was lifting and coasting a lot in his second stint. That's why he lost a lot of time to Lando Norris, and the fact that Piastri couldn't get close to him at all. And if you saw my preview for the Americas Tour, I did say that Piastri would come behind Norris, but I didn't think it would be this bad, finishing behind both Ferraris. Not a good weekend from Piastri. Mexico is really crucial because Verstappen is really starting to close in the championship. I thought he'll only gain 10 points on him this weekend. He ended up gaining 23. He's gained 64 points in 4 races. That is mad. If we continue like this to the end of the season, he's going to be ahead of Piastri before the Americas Tour ends. He could be ahead of him in Brazil. Piastri needs to win Mexico to keep his championship hopes alive. As I said in my preview video, the thin air in Mexico will really help out the McLarens, since yes, Red Bull do have better straight line speed, but since the air is very thin and there's not much air loading onto the wings, a higher downforce setup is normally preferred in Mexico. And again, do McLaren really have the fastest car right now? I think it's really debatable that Red Bull are the ones with the fastest car. I'm not putting down Max, because Max is clearly still the best driver on the grid, but that Red Bull is a lot more competitive than it was at the start of the year, even mid-season, and I think it's better than the McLaren at the moment because Max was able to dunk 3/10s on Lando Norris in qualifying without doing a second run. And the qualifying gaps this year have been 0.05 of a second or less than a tenth, is a testament to the fact that Red Bull are currently the fastest car on the grid. But Max is definitely, and I think it's also important to note that McLaren got complacent with the development because they had the constructors sealed and no one expected this comeback from Red Bull. Crazy how he's back in championship talks after he himself gave up after the Hungarian Grand Prix, saying that Red Bull won't be able to win another race this year. But look where we are now. Shout out Lauren Mekies. I think he's been doing a great job with Red Bull. I don't know how he was so bad at Ferrari, but you know, the Red Bull, he's been doing good. Couple of incidents in this race. The first notable one was Carlos Sainz on Antonelli, and this was so clearly Carlos Sainz's fault. What kind of move was he trying to do here? I don't know. Okay. I really have no clue what was going inside Leclerc's mind in this situation. Both him and Lewis lost a lot of time to Lando Norris because of this. Lewis burned his front tires as well. Both of them would have literally been better off if Charles Leclerc didn't bother defending this. I still don't get why he defended it. But that's just racing, I guess. Lance Stroll finally made the move work. You know what? Well done, Lance. Instead of making the move all the way from Singapore, he made it from Mexico. Behrman and Tsunoda. What on earth was Tsunoda doing here? That was one of the most egregious defensive maneuvers I've ever seen. Why did he move so late? Ollie was clearly about to make the dive, and then he moves at the very last second possible, and this happens. Well done, Yuki. Somehow he didn't get a penalty, which is ridiculous, but he finished P7. Behrman's actually at risk of getting a race ban. But if you think about drivers who've been causing incidents this year, he doesn't come to the top of your mind. I think it's the spirit of Kevin Magnussen. I think his mist is still floating around the Haas garage, and he's been cursing Ollie Behrman since the start of the season. And it was a pretty funny scrap between the Alpine drivers. Come on Alpine, just let them fight. It was for a useless position anyways. So that was the United States Grand Prix, round 19 of 24 in the 2025 F1 season. Do you think the championship is on? Do you think Piastri can get his form back in Mexico? Do you think Lewis Hamilton is getting a podium this year? I will cry if he doesn't. But anyways, thanks for watching and goodbye.